Okay, this is marking up the bottom of the hood for the custom hood, okay? First things first, you turn it over. You're gonna notice this big old serial number. I usually just grind this out and I put filler, smooth it out, looks nice and flush. These get cracked a lot. There's a big old crack right there, okay? They also get scratched a lot. This area here, since it is the highest point on the hood, when they're in transport in the cardboard box or they take them out, they're on the floor or wherever, they get scratched up right here. You want to fix that. This as well. These are little drain holes. Don't fill these in because if water goes in through the front vent, okay, that's the back vent, water will accumulate when they're driving down the road. This is the lowest point. It'll drain out through here and drain out through there. So don't fill those holes up. They're there for a reason. You always want to make sure that these edges, all these pinholes are filled in. Make sure it looks good. Remember, you're buying an expensive vehicle, and if this is your truck and you open the hood to look at the engine, you're going to notice everything on the front half of this hood, meaning from this point forward, it's going to be visible when you look up, okay, because you open the hood. Back here, not so much. For example, all this back area, it won't be as visible, but you still want to fix it, okay? The most common thing that I have to fix on these is pinholes, and there is a ton of them, especially on these edges right here, all along here. And you definitely want to fix these. You might have some high spots. This looks like just residue filler, like when they're working on the hood. It kind of splatters around and you get little splotches of filler. So you want to make sure and sand those out. I always leave this black. You can remove it or you could paint it the same as the truck. Usually what I do is I'll put a piece of tape right here, wrap it around. So this stays black, but this gets painted. So it kind of gives it like a little factory look to it, you know, and this is going to get scraped up anyways. But just put a 2-inch piece of tape here, wrap it around, and you can paint all this and then just peel off the tape. So it's kind of looks custom. It gives it a nice little effect. Right here, it's a little imperfection. All these little scratches. Okay, now look at this. This looks bougie. Okay, you see how sharp that is? I mean, that's really sharp. They messed up or they chipped it off and they tried to do a repair. Look how sharp that is. Now look at the other side. You see how wide that is? That's going to be noticeable. Okay, so we might have to build up some filler, build it up, come down. So between here and here, you're going to build it up so it's not like a pointy part right there. You got to be careful though, because if you don't do it right, this can chip off whatever you build up on it. This right here looks like crap. It's just wavy. Look at that high ridge right there. It's supposed to be flat like this, okay? So I can tell that they did this in a hurry and just kind of half-assed it and just, you know, hey, let's go, ship it. That could have been done better. There's that imperfection. This is a drain hole. Here's another pinhole right there. Got to fix that. These little scratches. Now, I don't usually paint in here. You can, but I don't like to. I like to back tape this and just spray this while this is covered with tape. And what I mean by back tape is you basically get your 2-inch tape and you go all around the edge and you put a piece on the back so it's sticking up like this, okay? So what you're doing is you're just sealing that hole. And the reason I don't like to paint in there is because if I'm shooting base, Okay, so you go around, you do this all around the edge. Okay, once you got all the edges, then you could put a big piece of tape from this edge to that edge, and you basically cover this hole here. Okay, the reason I don't like to paint this is because there is always dust and trash and all kinds of stuff in there, and as soon as I let air go in there, it'll circulate, it'll come out of there, blow on there, and it's a whole mess. So I cover this with tape, I cover that with tape. Okay, I cover this with tape. Okay, you can spray it. If you are gonna spray it, flip it right side up, blow some air in there. Flip it right side down, blow some air in there. And what you're doing is you're moving all the contents around and allowing that air flow to kind of blow everything out. Like I said, they're not really going to see this, but it's just preference. So just fix all these edges. Again, that gets grinded off, and you're probably going to have to skim it with glaze and fill it up. You know, little imperfections like that. And that is pretty much what I do when it comes to the hood. So doing a hood, it's a 2 to 3 day process. What I mean by 2 to 3 day is first day you test fit it on the truck, take it off the truck once it's marked and test fitted, turn it upside down. You're gonna paint the bottom first. You're gonna shoot primer, 2K epoxy primer. Once you fix all the scratches and pinholes, you shoot your 2K primer, let it dry overnight every single time. Don't do it within the same day. It's gonna shrink. You come back the next day and you sand it with 600 wet, and you clean everything off and you spray the bottom with base and then clear coat. Then you let that dry overnight. That's the end of day 2.